everyone, it's Michelle from Scrap Secrets and welcome back to my channel. Today is day 1 in the 2024 Countdown to Christmas with Marie and Michelle. I will put a link to the intro video for the series in the more information section, so make sure you go check it out to learn about the series and learn about the giveaways that we're going to be doing. So for day 1, we're going to be doing a stenciling and mask technique. So I decided that I was going to create my own stencil, and I used the dies from Honeybee Stamps along with the stencil from Honeybee Stamps that coordinates with the dies, a couple of random stencils, and that Peking Elf die from Hero Arts. So we're going to be using 2 of those 3 stencils that you saw. I will actually talk you through. I did use the third one, and we'll kind of walk through that when we get to that section. I went ahead and created the mask. I put the tree to the very left-hand side of the 4 by 5 1/4 inch white cardstock that we made the mask out of. I kept the fallout pieces because we're actually going to be doing 2 different kinds of masks. I taped the 2 of them together, and then we are actually going to be doing some masking through the stencil that I created. I wanted to show you guys that you don't have to have all of the masks or all of the stencils or all of the things that you need. You can kind of create your own, and I thought this was a pretty creative way to handle this technique. So I'm using a stencil. This one I believe is from Hero Arts, and using some festive berries to ink up the stencil. So this is going to ink up the entire top part of the tree, but I also did mask off the very bottom where the trunk was. I actually cut the mask out in 2 different pieces and then pieced the trunk back in so that I wouldn't get any of these poinsettias over top of the trunk, because I wanted it to be I actually wanted to do it wood grain because I wanted to use the stencil that actually comes with this stamp and die set. However, if you wanted it to be a full poinsettia tree, you could leave out that part and then the stencil part, but I wanted to try to use as many different stenciling techniques as I could in this card. So we're going to be using frayed burlap, and then I believe it is ground espresso over top of it. This really gives you some detail so you can do layers. The nice part about this is there are layered dies in this. So it's the full tree, and then I believe each piece. So then there's the top 2 layers and then the very top layer that are individual dies, so you can cut your tree out and actually layer it up. So now we're going to go and put all of the fallout stenciled pieces in place as masks. So it's really great that you have the ability to do that. So when I had done this originally, I did the tree, because you can see on my tree, you can see some of those pine trees from that stencil that I had done. I did that, but the stencil, the pattern was so far away from each other that it wasn't giving the effect that I wanted. So I did use the stencil over top of it, but it didn't look good. And you'll actually get a glimpse of what it looked like on the back, because I just turned the paper over, because paper has 2 sides for a reason. So we're going to be using this plaid die or stencil with some evergreen bough distress oxide. So all of the inks that I use today are distress oxides. I tend to gravitate towards the distress oxides versus the distress inks unless I'm doing a watercolor technique that I need a less chalky color for. For some reason, I just like the distress oxides. I think they're a little bit creamier. So now I'm going to go back and put the original stencil back over top of the piece, because I thought that the white looked a little bit too stark. So I just took whatever ink was left on my brush and ran it over top of the tree just to give a little bit of a difference in the background. You'll notice when I pull the mask off, which I love that when you pull something off, when you pull masks off of something and you see the image that you've created. I liked it a lot better when I pulled the mask off and then had that little bit of like an orangey red background to it. So I did cut this die out 3 different times. I cut the base layer out in white, I cut a layer out in green, and a layer out in red. Now, if I was doing this over again, I don't think that I would cut off the pieces like I did. I actually cut off all the gloves and then I cut off the scarf. I actually probably just would have put 1 layer down, like the red layer down, cut the face out of it, and then just cut off the little pieces of green, and then did an inlay or a paper piecing on top of the red layers. But this is more, it was more like a puzzle instead of layering things up. So I did a little bit of both here because I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. So while you're watching me do this, and then we're going to get into a little bit of Copic coloring for his face. So while we're doing that, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the series. So this is the 2nd year that Marie and I are doing this full series. This is about, I think, might be the 5th or 6th year that I have done the series myself. I've done different versions of it. I haven't always done 25 days. Sometimes it was 12. So there's a lot of inspiration back there. You'll find it on my channel. I think I even have a playlist on here called Countdown to Christmas. And it's so fun. So Marie and I came up with 25 different techniques, themes, skills that we did not do last year. So between last year and this year, there are 50 techniques. So you should have plenty to get your Christmas inspiration for your cards this year. We have ones that are very technique intense. So it's something that you probably will only make 1 or maybe 2 of, that special person card. Then we have ones that are going to be easy to mass produce. So if you're looking for a last minute gift or a gift card holder or something like that, we are going to have those available too. So it's going to be a mix of very time intensive cards and then things that are very easy to especially mass produce, especially when it gets closer to Christmas and you're just like, oh, I need to get cards out. I hope that you guys are going to enjoy this series. I cannot believe that it has already started and that I've already had to work on some Christmas cards, because it seems like Christmas should be so far away when it's 80-something degrees outside. But Christmas will be here before you know it. And I love doing this series because it really kickstarts me into making cards for everybody to send out. I hope that you guys enjoy it, and I really appreciate the people that have come back year after year and watch and constantly comment. I really appreciate it all. I did last year read everybody's comments, and I do want to apologize that I did not get back to everybody with Lucy being sick again and Fred being sick the year before. It has been a tough couple of Christmases, just finding the energy to get out and make the videos for, and I really wanted to do it because it really makes my heart happy to do these things, but it was a struggle. And, losing both of them in a little over a year was very difficult for me. And one of the things that makes me feel normal and kind of back to being myself is making these cards. And even with both of the losses and going back to school, Marie asked me, are you sure you really can do this? And I said, I'm going to do it because I'm going to make time for myself and I'm going to make cards. So I'm very much looking forward to this series. I can't wait to see what Marie makes because I love the stuff that she makes, and she and I have completely different styles and love it. Okay, so anyway, let's get back to the card. So once I finished piecing that elf together, I thought it would be really cute for him to be peeking out of that tree. So I glued him down to that. And then, of course, I have to add some sparkle and shine. So I took that Lawn Fawn pen and put a little dot on the little cotton ball or the little ball at the end of his hat. Of course, it got everywhere, so I used my scissors to put it back together. And then we're going to get ready to glue it down to a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch craft card base. So once I turn this over to put glue on it, you'll be able to see that the trees on the back, that's what it looked like. And I didn't really like the way that came out. You'll have to let me know which one you like better. So I'm going to put that down on the card base, and that's the card for today. So thank you guys so much for watching day 1. Make sure that you comment and check out Marie's video, which I will have a link to in the more information section. And I'll see you again real soon for another video. Bye!